first major WWE departure of the new era has been confirmed, but first, WWE seem open to a CM Punk return. Yesterday, the WWE and UFC merger would be completed when the new company, TKO Group, hit the stock market for the first time with a grand opening on Wall Street. Following the completion of the long-awaited Endeavor buyout of WWE, both MMA and wrestling fans have wondered to what level the two now joined companies will cross over. Before we get into the CM Punk update, let's first take a look at a comment from WWE President Nick Khan, who would discuss the possibility of UFC fighters transitioning into the WWE ring once their days in the octagon are over, something we have seen in many cases with the likes of Ken Shamrock and Ronda Rousey making a similar jump in the past. And Nick would say, UFC fighters are going to stay focused on the UFC, and WWE superstars obviously do something different in our ring, but you also see the UFC people with big personalities who, once their UFC run is done, once the UFC and the fighter says, hey, maybe now it's time to call it a day, could those people have a longer life at WWE, an extended life with TKO? We think so. One major star that has competed in both UFC and WWE, one much more successfully than the other, is CM Punk, who is coming off the back of a contract termination with All Elite Wrestling. During his conversation with ESPN, Nick Khan would be asked if WWE are interested in bringing back the straight edge free agent, a move the company seems open to considering, and Khan would say, listen, we only have respect for Phil, we appreciate his run here, we appreciate what he did and tried to do with the UFC, not many people can actually get in there and do what he did, so when we have respect for Phil, we wish him nothing but the best. It has been reported in the past that Punk himself is open to a potential WWE return, with one report suggesting that he was looking to make the jump as early as January this year during his hiatus from AEW television. We now wait to see if a deal can be agreed, with it still unclear if the Second City Saint has a non-compete clause attached to his AEW termination agreement. And next, a top AEW star has revealed his loyalty to Tony Khan. Throughout recent months, former WWE champion Bryan Danielson has played a key role backstage in AEW, with him working closely alongside President Tony Khan, with him now being the main focus of AEW Collision following the departure of CM Punk. In a fresh interview with Sports Illustrated, the American Dragon would discuss his friendship with Tony Khan, noting that they have more than a business relationship, and Danielson would say, even if I never wrestled in AEW again, I feel like me and Tony will still talk. We get along so well. Both of us relate to the world through wrestling. We'll be talking about something in the world, then he'll bring up a reference that so few people know, but I'll know. I enjoy being around him, I enjoy his company. To me, that's friendship. We've connected and we've developed loyalty. He's someone who has been there for me in hard times, and I want to be there for him too. That's a friendship outside the lens of making a wrestling show. Khan himself did recently reveal a conversation that he had with his father Shad, who he told to contact Bryan to lead AEW were anything to happen to Tony, with there being a clear trust between the two individuals. Next up, an AEW star has been named in a performance-enhancing probe. In 2013, a federal biogenesis investigation led to the conviction of Tony Bosch, this when he was found to have supplied steroids and performance enhancers to a number of Major League Baseball players, with suspensions being handed out throughout the league. Well, according to new documents obtained by ESPN, other athletes have been linked to the scandal, including one name currently signed with AEW. The documents reveal that Bosch named Paul White, formerly known as Big Show in WWE, as somebody that he treated, this during a 2014 interview that was discovered this week. This when working with his then partner Jorge Velasquez. It's been claimed that he attended a Thanksgiving dinner at White's home and that Velasquez was supplying White with additional performance-enhancing drugs. Whilst White's attorney has admitted to Show meeting Bosch one time, he would state that he's never taken PEDs due to an underlying medical condition. It's worth noting that the investigation from a decade ago specifically targeted the suppliers of the substances and not the athletes themselves. And next, two AEW stars still have real-life heat. Ahead of AEW All in London last month, Santana and Ortiz would make their return to television to compete in the Stadium Stampede inside Wembley, with them linking up with the Blackpool Combat Club to battle Eddie Kingston, Best Friends, and Penta El Zero Miedo. The returns followed absences from both men for a number of months, with word being that the two were no longer friends due to a disagreement on how they were being used on television. Last week on Collision, Santana would take to a promo to reveal that he's set to embark on a singles run away from his tag team partner, with Ortiz responding to this on X when he wrote, "What a way to find out years of having your back meant nothing. Good luck with your crutch. Just remember it helped you walk for the last 14 plus years. Hope your legs are good. Thank you for being honest for once, but you couldn't say it to my face. You know you still can, right?" Santana would then hit back at Ortiz, claiming this is the first time he's heard from him in 14 months, and he would say, "First thing you said to me in 14 months, no text, no call. No, I hope your recovery has gone well, but of course paint me to be the bad guy like you've always done. Guess you forgot about our last conversation about this. Either way, I'm happy. I hope and pray the same for you." Whilst many fans assumed that the online remarks were part of a brewing on-screen angle involving the two men, a report has now emerged from House of Wrestling, who have been told the exchanges between Santana and Ortiz are genuine and not part of a storyline, with there still being heat between the two former Impact Tag Team Champions. With that said, I would imagine it's possible that the two could work this into a storyline going forward, something that would make for some gripping TV, and as we all know, turning real-life heat into an angle is always best for business. Next up, a new champion has been crowned in WWE. On last night's episode of NXT, Becky Lynch would challenge Tiffany Stratton for the NXT Women's Championship, with the chance of becoming a WWE Women's Grand Slam champion. In the end, the man would walk away as the winner following a manhandle slam to become the second current NXT title holder from the main roster, alongside Dominic Mysterio's run with the NXT North American Championship. The win adds the NXT strap to Lynch's resume alongside her WWE Raw and SmackDown women's title wins, as well as her reign with the women's tag team titles alongside Lita. The booking shows a clear desire from WWE to boost the ratings of NXT, this whilst giving main roster stars a side quest to accomplish, adding prestige to the title and giving a big win to whoever defeats her. Next up, WWE have big plans to grow the company. As discussed earlier in the video, the TKO group has officially formed following the merger of WWE and UFC. In an interview with ESPN yesterday, UFC Senior Vice President Lawrence Epstein would reveal that one of the goals of the new company going forward is the desire to turn every UFC fan into a WWE fan and every WWE fan into a UFC fan. UFC President Dana White would react to the comments in a press conference later that day, with him being much less optimistic about this possibility, and White would say,
"Where we want to get is where every UFC fan is a WWE fan and every WWE fan is a UFC fan. Do you see similarities in the fan base, and how achievable is that goal?"
Lawrence, I love you. One of the dumbest statements of all time. Yeah, I don't know why he said that. I don't even know what to say to that. No. There's some crossover. Some people like WWE, some people like UFC, some people like both. I don't think there's ever going to be a day where we turn every UFC fan into a WWE fan or every WWE fan. What's beautiful about the synergy between these two fan bases is they are very completely opposite. You know, there's very little crossover. And again, maybe he was misquoted. I hope that's the case, because I could not disagree with him more.
It's certainly an interesting discussion, as I personally like both wrestling and MMA, albeit I'm far more of a wrestling fan than an MMA fan, hence why this is WrestlePlanet and not MMA Planet. But where do you find yourself on the MMA and wrestling spectrum? Do you like both? If not, do you ever see yourself giving MMA a chance? Let me know in the comments down below. And next, the first post-merger WWE major departure has been confirmed. Prior to the formation of the TKO group, speculation arose regarding the future of staff within WWE, with several members of the staff said to be fearing for their jobs due to redundancies created by the merger of two huge companies, with there being an overlap in departments such as legal and accounting. While the first name to leave WWE following the Endeavor buyout has now been confirmed, news first reported by PW Insider, who revealed a former board member has been let go, and they would write, WWE President Nick Khan issued a memo today to employees announcing that at the end of the month, WWE's Chief Financial Officer and Chief Administrative Officer Frank A. Riddick will be departing the company. This would be the first known exit of a WWE executive after Endeavor acquired WWE and merged it with UFC under a new parent company, TKO Holdings. Riddick had been on the WWE Board of Directors over 13 years and reported directly to Vince McMahon pre-Endeavor. Whilst he has been let go, Riddick is said to have received $5 million in bonuses following the WWE sale, and despite being out of a job, he certainly isn't out of pocket. The expectation within WWE is that more departures are on the horizon, with a previous PW Insider report noting that there's a sense of concern and uncertainty within the offices of the company. And before you go, make sure you check out 10 facts that MJF doesn't want you to know.